Hello, bookworms! Today I'm here with my April wrap-up. I had another pretty okay reading month. Not as good as last month, because last month I read 14 books, but this month I read 10 books, which is still, like I said, pretty good, especially because, as I keep mentioning, I am in like the final days of wedding planning, so things are just like chaotic. So it's actually kind of amazing that I've even been able to read that many things. So let's get started. The first book that I read in April is The Winner's Kiss by Marie Rutkowski. This is the conclusion to the Winner's trilogy, and it is one of the books that I was really highly anticipating for the year. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the ending was so great. I don't want to spoil anything from the first two books in case you haven't read them, but the main premise of the first book is that there's a girl named Kestrel, and she's given a choice by her father. She can either get married or she can join the army, and she doesn't really want to do either of those things, and then she ends up purchasing a slave named Aaron, and the two of them form like a bond, and then there's a whole lot of like political stuff going on, and it's just really good. I do have to say that my favorite of the trilogy is still the second book, which is The Winner's Crime. That one to me was definitely like the most exciting, and I just loved it so much. There was a lot of war in this book, which is not something that I usually enjoy reading about the most, so I feel like it kind of suffered for me a little bit on that end, but I still did really love it, and I really loved the outcome. So I ended up giving The Winner's Kiss 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read an arc of The Fangirl Life, A Guide to the Feels and Learning How to Deal by Kathleen Smith. I actually read this book in a day. It was like a really, really quick read, but it was really entertaining, and there were so many references to like geeky things that I definitely enjoy. Like there were even Gilmore Girls references, which were so on point because I've been binge watching that series for the past like month. But just like so many things I felt like I related to so much, and I thought that it was really fun, and I thought that it would be really helpful for certain fangirls that face different things like anxiety and just everyday issues that people run into. So I thought that it was really, really good. Kathleen is actually a therapist, so she is very qualified to be giving advice to all of us other fangirls. She's also a huge fangirl. I don't know if you follow her on Twitter, but she is so nice, and I'm really happy that I got to read her book. It actually doesn't come out until July. I believe it's July 7th. So you guys will have to look out for that when it comes, but it was really, really good. I really recommend it, and I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read another arc, and that was Wild Swans by Jessica Spotswood. This book actually comes out in May, and it might already be out by the time that I post this video, but I really, really love this book. It was a contemporary book, and it's about a girl who comes from a long line of women. They're called the Milburn women, and they all have like some kind of crazy legacy, and there's a lot of like mental health issues that the previous women in her line have struggled with, and it's just really like a coming of age story and a discovery story where she's trying to figure out who she is and how she fits into the world. And while there is a romance in it, that's not the main focus. So I just really loved it. I thought that it was written so well, and I like just, I don't know, I just loved it. Like, I thought the main character was really good. Like, she was so nice, and she was so just like relatable at that time in your life when you're trying to figure out like, what is it that I'm meant to do? And her best friend is like the most awesome character ever, and I totally want to be friends with her too. So I ended up giving Wild Swans 5 out of 5 stars. Then I read another arc, The Summer of Supernovas by Darcy Woods. I was really trying to like catch up on arcs this month, so that's why I didn't get to read as many books from my TBR that I wanted to from last month, but I'm definitely going to focus more on those in May, because I hate when you have to like give your attention to arcs and you have to not read other books that you want to read because of them. So even though like I did enjoy some of them, I would prefer to have more freedom of choice. The Summer of Supernovas is a book about a girl whose mother died when she was young, and her mother was very into astrology. So she is pretty much obsessed with cosmology and like the stars, and she's really obsessed with astrology, and she reads her horoscope religiously, and she ends up meeting two guys, two brothers, and there's a sibling love triangle, which I never really like, so didn't enjoy that. So one of them is supposed to be her perfect match according to the stars, and she's not super attracted to him. And then the other brother, she's clearly like having something going on with him, but she decides to listen to her astrological chart, and she dates the brother that she's not really that attracted to, and she's constantly trying to like convince herself that she likes this brother and that she's meant to be with this brother. So I struggled with this book a lot. It was really hard for me to get into it because I just didn't agree with her reasoning, and I understand that like her mom died and that's why she feels this connection to the stars, but it just seems so silly to me to like not follow your heart. I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy it very much. I thought that the main character otherwise, besides that, had interesting aspects to her. Like, I liked that she dressed in all like vintage 40s clothing. I think that's really cute. And her grandma bakes cupcakes for a living, so that was really cute. And I enjoyed scenes where they were like baking together, but I just really didn't enjoy the love story at all. And that was the main focus of this book. So I ended up giving Summer of Supernovas 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read The Distance Between Us by Casey West, and I really, really loved this one. It's one of Casey West's contemporary books. As I've said, like time and time again, I am just so in love with her Split Second and Pivot Point series. Actually, those are reversed. Pivot Point is the first book and Split Second's the second book, but that duology is so good. So I've been wanting to read her other books, and so this is a contemporary one that doesn't have any kind of sci-fi element to it, but I adored it. Like, the main character is the most sarcastic person in the world. She's like so snarky and her humor is so dry, and I just loved it. And then the love interest in it, Xander, he's like a preppy rich kid, and she is a very kind of poor girl. Her mom owns a doll store, and she's kind of like resigned to being the person that has to take it over, even though she doesn't like it at all. So I thought it was like really nice the way that she treated her mom and the way that she would give up a lot of things in her own life in order to support her mother's dream. And her and Xander really spent the novel like trying to find themselves because he's also in a position to take over his father's business. So I just thought that like they connected so well, and I just really love the story. I just really love Casey West's writing, and the humor was great. Like, I was laughing at some points, and I just loved it. I ended up giving The Distance Between Us 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Archie Volume 1 by Mark Waid and Veronica Fish and Fiona Staples, and one issue was illustrated by Annie Wu. I talked a little bit about this in my graphic novel haul video, and I absolutely loved this trade. I'm so glad that they're rebooting Archie and they're making it more appealing to new readers as well as readers who have grown up with Archie. I just thought it was so good. The art was incredible. Again, like, this was a really funny read. I was laughing out loud during certain panels and like showing Andrew because it was that funny. I just really loved it. I feel like this is something that a lot of people are going to want to get into, especially before Riverdale premieres on the CW, which is based on Archie. So this is just like such a great place to start and such a great place to get introduced to these characters. It's Archie, and him and Betty have just broken up, and then Veronica Lodge comes into town, and her and Archie start hanging out together, and you also get like a little taste of Jughead, and it was just so cute and so fun, and I'm really looking forward to the next trade. I ended up giving Archie 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Map of Fates by Maggie Hall. This is the second book in the Conspiracy of Us trilogy. I enjoyed this book. I thought that the things that I didn't like about the first book, I liked a lot more about this one. I felt like they were handled a lot better. There was a love triangle in the first book that I wasn't really into, and it got a lot better in this book, so I was very pleased with that. I read The Conspiracy of Us last year, like the week that it came out, and it's been a really long time. So in the beginning, it was a little bit difficult for me to get into this book because I couldn't remember really how anybody was as a character. Like, I remembered the names, but I couldn't remember like their characterization. So that was a little bit of a struggle, but once I got back into the flow of things, it was really enjoyable. It's a really quick paced story. It's something that you could read really quickly. It's relatively short. I think it's like 311 pages or something like that. And I thought it was really cute. And also I just really, really love this cover. I really am looking forward to seeing what the next one looks like because these covers are just wonderful. I liked this book. I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars, and I am definitely going to read the third one when that comes out. Then I read Sword Art Online Girls Ops Volume 1 by Reki Kawahara, I think. Yes, I can never say his name correctly, but he writes the Sword Art Online series, and this is a spin-off of that focuses on 3 of the girls in the series that are kind of side characters, and now they have their own storyline, which is really cool. I really enjoyed this one. It was so quick, like such a quick read. Manga is like, you can read it in a minute, it feels like, but I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to see a story in the Sword Art line without Kirito in it, and I thought it was just fun to like follow the girls. I thought it was very cute, and I'm definitely going to continue with this one as well. And I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. Then the last 2 books that I have to show you were 2 of my most anticipated books of the year. So the first one was Therosin the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh, which is the conclusion to the Wrath in the Dawn series. This one, oh my god, I loved it. Like, I fell back into this world so easily. I was just so excited from page 1 to be back there and to be reading more of this story, because the way that the last one ended off, I won't spoil anything, don't worry. It was just like I needed more, and I got more, and it was so great. It was like, this was everything that I wanted in a conclusion to this series, and there were so many heartbreaking moments and like heart-wrenching moments, and there were some happy things, there weren't too many happy things, but it was incredible. Like, definitely 5 out of 5 stars. I'm so excited about this book still. And Cassie, Melissa, and I are doing a Spines with Wine show about this book, but unfortunately, Melissa ended up having to work on the day that we were planning on doing the live show, so it's going to be rescheduled, and I will let you guys know when we decide on that date. Did I say that I gave this 5 out of 5 stars? Because this book gets all the stars. And then I have another book that was one of my also most anticipated books, and that is The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. And oh my god. Like, again, after I read the 4-page prologue, I was like, this is a 5-star book. So amazing. Just everything about it. I just love, love, love this series. And I know a lot of people struggle with the first one because it is slow, and that is for sure. It is a slow-moving book. But once you get to the end, there's a major payoff. And then the second one is slow, but there's payoff again. And then the third one is just story and plot and action and incredible. And then this one just furthered it and concluded it, and oh my gosh, so amazing. Like, I don't know how Maggie Stiefvater did it, but I think that this one might even be my favorite in the series. Like, it was that incredible. And if you haven't read the Raven Cycle series yet, you need to like make it a priority and just do it, and you will be so happy. Oh, it's so good. So obviously another 5 out of 5 stars right here. So those are all the books that I read in April. Like I said, there were a total of 10. Hoping to read a little bit more next month, but we'll see what happens. I would love to know if you guys have read any of these books, or if you would like to read any of these books. Let me know down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys soon with my TBR. Bye!